Hello, students. Welcome back. I hope you had a great winter break. Let's talk about what we're going to be learning in the next 10 or so lessons. These two standards, we are graphing proportional relationships and interpreting the unit rate as the slope of the graph. So slope is how steep something is. Um, so we're graphing. If you remember last year, we talked about proportional relationships a lot. Proportional relationships start at 0, 0, and they go up the graph at a constant rate. And that constant rate is this unit rate. And we're going to call that the slope now. And we're going to compare two different proportional relationships represented in different ways. Okay. Then we are going to use similar triangles to explain why the slope, which we now call m, is the same between any two distinct points on a non-vertical line. So if it's not going straight up and down, it has a slope. And if I go from here to here or from here to there, any 2 points, the slope is the same between them because it's a straight line. Okay, and then we're going to we're going to find the equation y equals mx for the line through the origin and y equals mx plus b for the line intercepting the vertical axis at b. So we remember, hopefully from last year, the unit rate, a proportional equation had a unit rate which we called k, the constant, and we created the equation y equals kx. That was said at 0, 0, and then it goes up. It goes up k for every one x. Okay, so that's just what this y equals mx is. This y equals mx plus b is the same thing, except instead of starting down at 0, 0, we can start at a different point and we'll still go up in a straight line. But that's what we're going to learn. So if you don't know it now, that's fine. Some new vocabulary you might want to learn or get familiar with: x and y intercepts. So on a graph, we have the y-intercept, or the y-axis goes up, and then the x-axis goes across, and it's supposed to be straight lines, not curved like mine, but they go forever and ever. So x-axis always goes across forever and ever in a straight line, and the y-axis goes up and down forever and ever on a straight line. So if I draw something on here, and we're going to be talking about straight lines, so if I draw a straight line here where it crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. And here where it crosses the x-axis is called the x-intercept. Now, if you play sports or anything like that, intercept means to step in front of somebody and grab it. So where we cross the lines, that's the x and the y-intercept. This one's the y, of course, because it crosses the y-axis, and this is the x because it crosses the x-axis. Okay. Slope is the steepness of this line. So how fast do you go up is called the slope, or if you go down. And then the slope-intercept equation is really cool. It's an equation y equals mx plus b. So we just saw that. M is our slope, and b is our y-intercept. So they call it the slope-intercept equation because this is your slope, and this is your y-intercept. So when we ask you, we're going to ask a lot, what is the slope of a line? If you have this y-intercept axis, you could say the slope is whatever this number m is. And you could say, well, where does it cross the y-axis? You could say, well, whatever number this b is, that would be right here, b. Okay? So that's really cool. The standard form excuse me, the standard form of a linear equation is ax plus by equals c. Why they have a standard form and a slope-intercept form is a question for another time, but they have two different forms of the equation. But they're the same equation, just different forms. It's like me when I'm wearing a t-shirt and me when I'm wearing a suit and tie. They're both the same thing, they just look a little different. And then horizontal and probably vertical lines we should know. Horizontal line is the x-axis or anything that goes straight across. And a vertical line is the y-axis or anything that goes straight up and down. That's our vocabulary, at least the important stuff that I think you'll need to know for the next 10 lessons. Here is kind of like the overview of what we're going to learn in the next 10 lessons. 4 big things. So take a moment and write these down. The steepness of a line is a slope on a proportional relationship. It's also the unit rate. But in general, it's the change in the y values over the change in the x values. So when we were talking about the slope before, right? Going up. So how fast does it go up over how fast does it go over is all we're talking about. 2 points on a non-vertical line can be used to find the slope, any 2 points. And the line joining 2 points in a graph of the form y equals mx plus b has a slope of m and an intercept of b, in case you didn't forget. And then there is only one line that passes through a given point with a given slope. So when I have a point here and a point there, there's only one line that can connect them. I can't have 2 different lines, and that line has a specific slope. That's all that's saying. So let's move forward, and we're going to talk about that in the next lesson.